This is the Daily Saints Pod with Zach and Greg.
Hello and welcome back to episode 460 of the Daily Saints Pod after a little break to narrowly survive the heat. It was kind of close, mate.
We were like chatting about content for the rest of the week, what we're going to talk about and fixtures. We were all quite looking forward to it. And then it just feels like I've lost about a year of my life. I've had to try and get back on top of everything in the sole existence. I've spent more time at my work office than I have probably in the last 6 years over the last 3 days because it had air conditioning. I just, where I'm at, mate, is I'm really glad both of us are on the other side. It's really nice to think about football that isn't just watching England sort of flounder a little bit. And yeah, I'm just glad we're both all right. Families are all right. Everyone's all right. And we're probably all going to have bills for air conditioning.
It was pretty touch and go for a while there, mate. I think there was a period of the day where I was about 80% ice pole. That was just the core of my diet for a solid period. It's all right. We've made it through that particular burst, and here we are on the other side.
Indeed.
But look, just because we suffered and struggled and stopped in that period of time, mate, the other news didn't. We got some fixtures. Can you believe it?
We have. We've got fixtures news, finally. We were talking about that was going to be exciting. I have not properly read them, and I know that sounds awful. And my excuse is, when Greg went, have you had a look at fixtures yet, mate? I didn't know what time it was and what day it was, because I hadn't really slept over the last sort of 4 days until we hit sort of the weekend. So I kind of decided to then not look into them, so I can come into this episode a bit blind. I sort of briefly saw the South Coast Derby ones. I know one of them's October, and that's all right. It's not the first game after the transfer window closes, hopefully, this time round. So,
well, actually, mate, it is
good.
It's the 10th of October. It is off the back of an international break.
Well,
it's the first game back.
Hopefully it's not going to be with a new manager in charge, but we don't know at this point. We're still in that weird sort of limbo where Eckert is the manager until he's not the manager.
No. It's not the first game before the end after the transfer window, right? We've got 4 games between the transfer window ending and the Pompey game.
Oh, that's fine.
It is after an international break, which is still a bit upsetting, but that's fine. And then the reverse fixture of the away game is at the end of February, 27th of February, which is nice. No midweek fixture before that game.
That's nice. Maybe.
So,
maybe means everyone can get excited and build a little bit of hype for it. It's not just going to be sort of bouncing straight into it, although it's becoming a regular occurrence at this point, which is strange enough, right?
Yeah.
We all kind of hoped we would be out of it, but here we are. It is what it is.
I guess other notable fixtures, opening day, of course, we've got Watford away, a 1:30 kickoff on the Sunday, which means we're on TV, which is at least something, I suppose.
Yeah,
well, TV money in early.
We'll have to see what happens with Watford. It's entirely impossible to predict because at any point during the season they could have a new manager and be playing a new formation. We just got to hope we don't start the opening fixture by trying to figure out who it is using binoculars, right?
Yeah.
It's nice that there's just enough of a gap now that we can kind of start to joke about Spygate a little bit. But it feels like it was...
Without just detracting us from our fixture release too much, mate, I don't know if you saw, but there were quite a few other teams in the Championship
saw the Birmingham one,
fun.
Which was like the hedges to take, but I haven't seen anything else.
Wrexham put out a particularly good one of their fixture in calendar form. And the logo they used for Saints was the meme of where we've replaced the tree in the badge with the binoculars.
Yeah.
But also 2 days earlier on the calendar, they had put a big circle and a star and the words "Check Training Ground." So that's good.
At this point, does Will Salt start charging for his likeness being used? Because I would start to get wound up if I was being sold on T-shirts and also being posted everywhere by all these other clubs. I know we talked a little bit seriously about the effect, but goodness gracious me.
one step of internet fame away from doing like guest appearances at Pop World, like the Weldstone Raider or something. Like,
I was thinking more like QI, where people tried to figure out who the analyst was. You like, you know.
Oh, we went very different routes, but each way is just as funny.
No, you're right. Oh dear.
And look, I don't know. Aside from sitting here and going through the list, other key dates, I suppose, away on Boxing Day at Charlton is one that people like to look forward to.
You weren't too happy about being away, right? Because or you thinking maybe you were doing away day against Boxing Day.
Well, it's kind of a double whammy of bad for me, because it's not great to not be at home on Boxing Day when the whole family like to go down, but also Charlton is one of the away days that I was going to try and do this year with the kids because of my history with Charlton. And so it falling on Boxing Day really removes that as an option, rather upsettingly. But
that's a shame.
But, you know, is what it is. Last day of the season, we are at home against the Blades, Sheffield United. So, I mean, without being too presumptuous, trophy presentation.
Are we going to do it again? Are we going to go through our season predictions, mate, and put us at the top again this year?
I just don't think I have any other option in me, and I think that you know that.
Yeah, no, I know that to be a fact, and I just think it's going to be a tougher. I think it's going to be a tougher season this season. We've got a lot
Definitely
more,
is.
you know,
big games.
You've either got, you know, Wolves are either going to go straight back up or they're going to go straight down. I don't really see them sitting in mid-table. I feel like they're going to do a Leicester, especially with some, you know, we kind of spoke about it briefly before, right? The bizarre managerial decisions that were made at that club. And then you've got West Ham, who will be paying Bowen probably like double the amount of most championship squads. So yeah, it's going to be
Do you think he'll stay then? Do you not think he'll move on?
I think he's the one that's basically said he kind of want to stay. I think a vast majority of them will move on, right? But I think like they might be able to fund it when, you know, like Matty Fernandez probably going and, you know, other bits and pieces. It would just be interesting to see what happens. But I think that's going to be a tough team to play. I think, you know, we know we had a really good chance last year, and realistically, like most of the people we were struggling against, you know, we weren't struggling against Leicester. It was really the only team that went back up that came straight back down was Ipswich, right? So the rest of the kind of playoffs weren't really what we expected them to be. Didn't expect Hull to go up. So yeah, it's kind of nuts. And what you'll notice there from Greg's little whoa is exactly what we've got in the background, which is just keeping an eye on South Africa versus Canada.
Picked up on that one, did you?
Because obviously we're waiting to see if Larin comes on and scores another goal. You know, 2 goals at World Cups, big deal. But yeah, we unfortunately decided to record halfway through a knockout game. So this is proof.
Can't be helped, mate. There's just football on all the time in the World Cup.
It's kind of wonderful. I was even talking, you know, people like during the heatwave, people I speaking to who don't really like watch football that much, watching games at like the middle of the night. for like countries that they're like, oh, I didn't even realise they made the World Cup. But yeah, no, fascinating. But when's the Middlesbrough games? Because they're now the Spygate derbies, right? I'm not saying that's bigger.
An interesting question. They are, they're going to be. They're games that people are going to have been looking forward to. So our home fixture against Middlesbrough comes first on the 28th of November.
Interesting.
And then we play them away in March, the middle of March, Saturday the 13th.
Oh, I can imagine the weather is going to be miserable for both of them. Perfect.
I think you can fully expect both of those games to be picked for TV. I think it's reasonable to say.
Yeah, I think that would probably be the case. I also think
probably enough of a narrative behind it to drive that, right?
Do you reckon they have an increase of security now? I know this is entirely a hypothetical.
I think it would be silly not to. There's definitely going to be a bit of needle. Whether it goes beyond a good bit of banter or not, I guess remains to be seen. But
I don't know how they could still be entirely bad with us. They got what they wanted in the end, which was to get through to the final. They bottled it, so it's like,
yeah,
I think that, like automatically put up because we needed a thing.
That in itself makes the entire situation incredibly emotive for both teams, and that is what makes it slightly combustible.
That is correct.
Because effectively what happened is that both teams come out of it feeling wronged. So
Yeah. Fair play to
It'll
Hull,
be
though. They're going to have a great time in the Premier
yeah,
League.
yeah, absolutely, maybe.
Maybe.
We thought we were going to have a great time in the Premier League, and I mean that
I
didn't play
don't
out all
think
that
we
well
did.
either.
I think that you predicted what, that we would get like 11th,
12th.
12th,
I
right?
wasn't
Okay.
that optimistic. Yeah,
Sunderland are the ones that have really, proved everybody wrong. And part of that is due to obviously their talisman at the moment, Xhaka, who I don't know if you saw, Greg. Already, they're trying to line up a move for him for Chelsea, and they put in like an 8 million bid to Sunderland, and Sunderland reject it and said they will reject all other bids, and he is not for sale. So that'd be an interesting one to watch over the summer.
Yeah, interesting. No, I hadn't seen any of that. I've just been purely focused on the World Cup to this, mate.
That's fair.
Other, I guess, like points of interest. Obviously, we're starting the season with a -4 point tally, so
Yes.
we're going to be looking to overcome that. So the opening run of games was going to be interesting to see how long it was going to take to do that. So we've got Watford away, then Stoke at home. So, against two pretty solidified Championship teams. Then Millwall at home, which is always a tough game.
Yep.
I don't remember us ever doing particularly well against them. Birmingham City, who were also pushing for playoffs last year, away, and then Lincoln away, and then Swansea at home. So, I mean, by the early part of September, you'd like to think we'd be back to positive points, right?
I think if we get a better start than we got last season, that's already a win, right? Like it took us so long to really get going, and despite the fact we won our first game, like that didn't really matter. So we'll just have to see how it all goes. But I am really hoping that we do a strong start and get some points on the board, and I think it is doable. We just got to see, like those first two games are probably games we should be realistically wanting to take points from. But
definitely,
Stoke finishing exactly where Stoke have finished the last couple of seasons means that they're probably going to have to try and do something different. They had a really good start to the season last season, and Watford again, just like trying to push for promotion places, got rid of their manager, brought in Garcia last season again to try and get to their manager, to try and get back into the spaces they did, and then managed to bring in Will Steele's brother, who did exactly the same as Will Steele at Watford, essentially. Interesting tidbit that you've probably heard already, is that Will Steele has a new job now. He's managing back in France, so he's gone back to basically what he knows after a bit of a breakaway. It's probably a good thing for him, to be honest, and potentially, I don't wish him any ill will. It's just kind of didn't mean to do that.
No ill will for Will Steele. All of those things, yes.
All of those things. So yeah, it'll be.
But yeah, you're right. It's good because actually, I mean, 4 games, 3.5 games before the deadline window ends. The crazy thing again, where actually the transfer deadline day is on the 1st of September, and we have an away game on the evening of transfer deadline day. So
I'm just hoping. I know it's not going to work out that way. I'm hoping a lot of this stuff is already wrapped up by that point. A lot of it's the chain part of it that we've constantly talked about. And if you haven't, then listen to our Transfer Tuesdays, because we talk about it quite a lot. This is the problem, right? Is that we had
the uncertainty across certain parts of the squad.
The Northampton game, right, from last season, Carabao Cup game, I think, and it was so many of the players that played in that game went on to never play for us again.
Yeah.
And it's like you kind of forget that, like, Matty Fernandez had a game in the Championship, James Ward-Prowse had a game in the Championship, Nathan Teller had another game for us in the Championship before he just disappeared off the Leverkusen.
I think we talked about it a lot last season, right? Where up until that game where the window ends, it's almost like this pre-season limbo. It's like the pre-season friendlies are actually pre-season, and then you get these 4 games that happen in this absolute limbo where you don't really know a lot. I mean, at least some of our positions are solidified with the business we've already done, right? Like, we know we'll have a striker and a goalkeeper and a right back.
Yeah. Sure. This is the problem. Is like we're
And
trying
a
to move
backup
quickly.
goalkeeper.
We're trying to move quickly on that kind of stuff, and like we got some things to talk about in Transfer Tuesday tomorrow. Some people will always be, be extremely aware that we're looking to sign Dan Neil, right? That's one of the ones, and then there's people arguing I'm seeing between whether or not we should just go in for Ward Prowse again instead. And we'll get to that into that tomorrow once I've had a proper look at stats and bits and pieces. But that's we might want to get all our business done, but obviously the problem is that we're going to have bids come in. Obviously, the bids at the moment is just for Shay Charles, and that's an ongoing thing. There's lots of still fear around Yander. There's going to be interest in Cienza as things pick up, I imagine. It hasn't been active. Yes, okay, we're going to look to get another striker, but it's all going to depend on. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's like it's fun. I love talking about the transfer window. It's like really good.
Stressful.
It's really good fun. It's fun to learn about new players. It's fun to see who's going to come play for the club and who we're going to see this year. But yeah, it's the stress of just like having to watch our entire team get picked apart again year by year. And obviously this year, I feel like there are going to be those that are annoyed that we didn't get promoted that aren't going to stay. We can't all have a Perret or whatever or a Larin that are quite happy to re-sign and come and stay. So yeah, it was just.
Look, I think that what we've got already confirmed is at least a reasonably solid part of the spine. So I think it puts us in a better stead than we've been in more recent years of uncertainty. At least we have some positions that we are confident in. Whereas I don't necessarily think that's been the case in the previous year.
It's been so long since we've had like a stable squad year for like 2 years in a row. Like even the promotion season, because we brought so much in to try and get promotion, what you ended up with is a extremely bloated squad with a bunch of people that came back off loan, a bunch of people that helped win promotion to the championship, and then a bunch of people that would have gone down to the championship if they weren't then picked up by Premier League Southampton. And then all of them vying for spaces, half of them not playing, and then the manager that brought most of them losing his job, right? And this is the first time that we might see a manager roll into the next season in the same league for a long time.
Unless the FA have something to say with it.
Well, again, it's Schrodinger's manager, right? He is manager until he is not.
But flicking the attention back to the fixtures, at the other end of the season, where it's going to be I think, a really tight run at the top because it's going to be a very competitive year. We're going to have a lot of teams vying for those playoff spots. Obviously, more playoff spots to go for this year as well. But there are going to be a lot of teams looking for that, and a lot more teams trying to avoid that absolute chaos and go for the automatics. And so looking at the run-in at the end of the season, and boy howdy do we need to get business done early if we want to secure those automatics, because it is a tough ask, I think. The last 4 games, Millwall away, Birmingham City at home, Burnley away, and of course Sheffield United at home. That is not an easy run-in, is it?
Millwall away. I don't know, but Birmingham we did all right at, and Birmingham, I think, if I remember,
they're going to be looking to improve this. Yeah, they're going to be looking to improve this year, though, aren't they? They're going to be pushing on.
Yes, but it entirely depends, right? Like on whether or not the transfers go well, and you have to see how it goes. Because I think Wrexham did really good business. Wrexham almost made it to the playoffs, considering they came up from League One, previously League Two, previously Conference, etc. They had a really good run. Birmingham obviously went down, came straight back up, tried to then vie for playoffs, and I think it's just not. They were a little bit more disjointed, in my opinion. We'll have to see. So I think that would be one of the better games. I don't really know how much I feel about Sheffield United at home, because that's one of the ones where it's hard to kind of judge Sheffield United at this point, right? Like they didn't really.
They're also going to be looking to improve.
Yeah, because they didn't have a full season of trying to get up, right? Obviously, the whole turmoil that they threw their own club into by sacking Wilder and then hiring our former, interim manager back in the day, didn't really do them that well, right? And then, but so I feel like, considering they were like Opta's 78% chance to win the league, which is hilarious now we look back at that. you would expect them to be doing better. So then, if they're right at the end of the season, they're looking to get up at that point.
Yeah.
But also,
they are all games. They are all games that could be meaningful for the team playing against.
Because subsequently they could also be like 10th, because just the absolute state of the championship this year is going to be so competitive. And we've also got to point out, as you said, that we're going to start with a points deficit, and that is going to prove potentially vital. You look at how we got to at the end of the season, how tight it was at the top, how, realistically, the draw that we picked up against Bristol City and the other draw we had the week after, they're really what cost us to have to be in the playoffs, and ultimately, is what caused all of the controversy, etc. Well, it didn't. The actions caused it, but we've beaten that horse to death. Go back to when it all happened. You can watch us go through the entirety of all ranges of emotions and grief before we've landed on joking about it and acceptance, because Greg keeps reminding just this conversation, right, about like the banter that's being had around fixtures. I just forgotten that this is going to be a thing we have to deal with all season, because obviously the World Cup's just taking precedence completely. So yeah. When we play Lincoln Town,
something right? It's the Championship, mate. Something daft and crazy and silly will come in and replace it as the funny joke. Right? It's not going to be all season. It'll be some of the season, and until someone else does something really silly. Until we beat Watford on the opening day, and then they decide to sack their manager again in record time. Right? It's going to be something ridiculous like that. Lincoln City that we're playing, that was
my bad. I called them Lincoln Town. I googled that. I was like, they're not Lincoln Town.
We play them away on the 5th of September, so that is the first game after the closing of the summer transfer window, and then they are the 5th last game we play. They are on the 10th of April, so they are just before that run of reasonably tough games towards the end of the season. Not that they might not be a tough game. I mean, based off of what you would expect, they at that point might be fighting for survival too. So,
yeah, we can't.
Teams are tough to play against when they have something to play for. So
but they won 103 points to get up. So they're going to be potentially doing better than what we'd expect of Cardiff. When are we playing Bolton? Because obviously my friend James, I can think at this point, friend of the pod. The amount of times I quote him, he was one of the ones that over the Spygate sort of stuff we debated quite a lot. And his dad's also a Spurs supporter, so we've had a lot of conversations around that as well. So that'd be interesting, because I imagine he'll probably come down to watch it.
We are away to Bolton on the 16th of January, and the home fixture is on the 17th of October.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything, so obviously, other than South Coast Derby, Spygate Derby, Nathan Jones Derby, as long as he remains manager of Charlton, the newbies that have come up, and obviously the people, the Premier League ones that have come down, which are all exciting. Do you have a particular fixture in mind that you're really excited for?
It's just always the baggies, mate, isn't it? It's always good to have that banter with the family and enjoy that. Unfortunately, the away fixture falls on my wife's birthday this year, so
yeah,
we'll see how that one plays out.
I asked you whether or not, when you told me, that you did actually tell me that's when that landed. I tell a lie. I asked you if that was a good or a bad thing, and I think that your response was depends, and we've never followed up on what that means. So whether or not it's a good family trip that I can convince you to do, and we'll stay in a nice hotel, or alternatively,
yes,
for the
whole day. Yes. I don't know. The jury's out. We like our little away trips to Birmingham, though, so. Nice. We shall see, but yeah, I don't know. Just all of it, mate. I love the Championship. It's despite the controversy and the way that we have remained in the Championship, there is a part of me that is glad to not suffer through a year of the Premier League.
Yeah, not only that, mate.
Weird,
another year no VAR. Let's just celebrate that we're going to have some really dubious goals scored against us. Handballs that are going to wind us up, little things like that. But subsequently, we're also going to probably score goals that would be considered a toe offside or something other, to keep it relevant.
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be exciting. I think we're going to have a really good year. I'm looking forward to so many games. Obviously, as I said,
It's going to be a really tough championship year, though.
yeah,
Very
it's
competitive.
probably going to. We thought like last year was incredibly competitive. It very much went down to the wire.
Yeah.
This year, I know that we're really going to be wanting to push. We might struggle. We might end up being like, yeah, we need to get first or second, and end up, nipping a playoff place because there are so many teams around us that are going to make us work for it.
Yeah.
And I think that you're wrong. I think that every single fixture we play against another team, Greg, is going to be like them mugging us off with some sort of funny tweet. So at this point, maybe we should introduce an award for the award show next year, which is like funniest like mug off. So we need to keep an eye and collate all of that to see who actually like achieved it properly. It's just probably worth on keeping an eye on for.
I'm happy to try and keep that stocked and keep an eye on that. But yeah, I'm sure that there'll be there's plenty of room for good, funny mugging off. Right, I'm here for
Yes.
it. I'm down for that. I appreciate well thought through humour. It's just as long as it's not the cheap joke, we're there for that.
100%. If you put some effort into it, I'm down for it.
Yeah. What about
you,
mate? Any other fixtures that jump out at you as particularly exciting?
So Bolton's a completely new one and unexpected one, and that's just going to be fun because I'm going to have back and forth with one of my mates who I usually wouldn't have back and forth about. Right, for so long, the gulf between our teams has meant that we've not really been able to talk about football in the same league together. So that's one of the ones that I'm going to look forward to. I always look forward to the Nathan Jones derby just because it's funny. I know it has a history currently of 1 year, but that 1 year was incredibly enjoyable, despite the fact that the home fixture wasn't as good as the away fixture. Right, the singing was as good, was as enjoyable at the home fixture, and obviously
one
the
of
away
my
fixture was one of the ones.
Dance from 25-26 season.
No, exactly that, and obviously South Coast Derby. The fact that we have another opportunity to actually have one is huge, and yeah, it'll be. I think that the Spygate Derby is going to be interesting more than anything else. Like it could be fascinating to how it turns out,
especially if Ross Stewart does go to Middlesbrough. That will add
a
whole different
this is the other
level
thing.
to it, right?
Depends what happens there, right? Because we haven't really talked about that. Luckily, we didn't need to pay attention to Scotland, and I don't know if he got on the pitch for the entirety of the campaign.
I don't think so.
Which seems kind of insane, considering that they needed to try and get some goals, and they didn't put him on. Foolish of them, in my opinion. But yeah, we'll just have to see where he ends up. But if he does end up at sort of at Middlesbrough, that would be fascinating. So yeah, I think those are only sort of my really ones. Obviously, you've always known I've had a little bit of a soft spot for Wolves, so that'd be an interesting game or an interesting couple of games. And Lincoln City is obviously watching anyone come up. Always good fun, or it'll be a game where we get incredibly frustrated, and like when we played Oxford, they'll win somehow.
Any fixtures not involving us that you're particularly looking forward to in the Championship this year? I mean, there are some pretty tasty ones, right? We've got West Ham Millwall.
West Ham Millwall is. The problem is, though, is it just going to descend into like hard heaven and everyone just gets sent off and then the football ends up being terrible?
God, I hope so. But there's room for all of that in the game. The things that commentators say that nobody wants to see in the game is well and truly what we all want to see. Obviously, we've got the Black Country Derby as well with West Brom and Wolves. That got particularly tasty last time in the Cup and boiled over to some shenanigans, didn't it? So yeah, not one to write off either.
And other than that, it will be fascinating to see what type of Burnley we get this year as well. Whether we get like Burnley 100% defensive record that somehow are going to make 150 points and come straight back up to the Premier League, or are we going to get like a more timid version of Burnley this time around? And that's another one where the managerial job is already opening up, where I've seen Rob Edwards apparently turn it down. It was going to be Craig Bellamy, then it wasn't. I don't know. It's hard to keep up with. You kind of just find out nowadays. I swear Gary O'Neill's back somewhere important.
You've got the Wales goes Hollywood derby. You got
Yeah,
Swansea and
the
Wrexham.
Hollywood derby is really good. I would like it to be settled by a boxing match between Snoop Dogg and Ryan Reynolds. I think that would probably make them absolute bang. Or what I want Ryan Reynolds to do is to turn up to the game against Swansea in a similar way to when Snoop Dogg turned up to that game that he actually went
Yeah,
to, where for some reason he had like a walk in. Like we've discussed this
yeah,
before, right? Where he had like an NFL style arrival in
yeah.
bafflingly so because he wasn't playing. But it was just
Yeah, that's the only way Ryan Reynolds can top it is full Deadpool costume, boombox. It's got to be done, right?
yeah.
He can.
Don't know if you know.
The unfortunate side of it is we probably just get Ryan and Rob on commentary again, and maybe Snoop Dogg joins them
Oh
on
my!
Sky Sports.
See now that maybe having Snoop Dogg on there would be something I could get behind as commentary,
That
right?
really
It's like
depends on
I
how
didn't really
much
like
past the
it.
watershed it would have to be
Yeah,
for
you
Sky
enjoy.
Sports to give Snoop Dogg a live microphone.
Look, Snoop Dogg is part of a studio that are creating a video game, Greg, and they are somehow bringing back Tupac. And I'll discuss this with you off pod because we've not actually had discussed about this. So probably springing this on you, you have no idea. But like that could be fascinating as a commentary duo for Swansea City at this point. I'm sure he could convince
I
their
mean,
estate to maybe invest into
look,
it. Like,
football purists would hate it, but I would watch every minute of it.
oh, even better, mate. What if you have Modric and
Yeah,
Snoop Dogg?
yeah.
Because I don't know how much Modric is going to be playing, right? Like he's
We've missed the funniest option by far though, because it's one thing for them to commentate on their own game of Wrexham versus Swansea, but actually you want that commentary team, but presenting Millwall versus West Ham. Chaos, absolute chaos.
Oh, you're right. It will be. Oh no. At this point, like, oh. See, I don't know because there's the part of me that finds it hilarious, and it's the bit that you sort of enjoy. As you said, it was having the option to turn it on and off was a good thing. But
Yes.
also, like, we're getting to the point now where like KSI has bought a football team, and so like the lines between entertainment and sort of like the way that sports is being run is it's getting thinner by the day. We're now
Yeah.
starting to see musical stars and social media people and whatnot.
Hydration breaks in games where the players look like drowned rats because it's absolutely chucking it down. Yeah.
You're right. If
Talk about
suddenly
that later in the
hydration
week.
breaks are introduced, and it turns out that the legacy of the American World Cup is that they can't deal without having a sport which isn't split into quarters, which is which, to be honest, it might sound like I'm mocking them, mate, but I remember one time, and a said friend, James, will remember this, where I asked the question during the first time I ever watched American football, like talking at least 10, 15 years ago. And I turned around to him and said, "So how many quarters are there?" To which he just stared back at me for about a solid 2 minutes before I eventually got there. So, I could mug them off for liking their sports into quarters, but at least they're not quarters were.
Indeed.
Anywho,
That's it.
it's just
Well, look,
just looking forward to it, mate. Back to
good.
proper football. After
That's it. We're into the knockout stages of the World Cup, so that's proper football now. And then not long after that, we get championship action back. Oh, it's exciting, mate.
yes,
I love it. We live for it. It's what we look forward to the most. We also drew Colchester in the Carabao Cup for the first round, so I think we've played them in our history once when we were both in League One.
yeah, that'll be again. That's going to be another fixture where all of a sudden we see the last appearances of multiple players. It's going to be great. It's going to be the.
Yeah.
It's going to be the. Are you going to be able to play the rest of the season? No, we're moving you on.
Also, some pre-season friendlies announced. Obviously, we talked last week about the one in Germany to play the team that I'm going to only refer to as the Eagles, rather than butcher their proper name. And of course, the now annual tradition of playing at the Silver Lake Stadium away to Eastleigh.
Yeah, we'll talk about the price of that when we get to our news section this week. that might be exciting, but it's pretty expensive, mate. Anywho,
£17 for an adult and £6 for a kid. I don't know.
£17 for a friendly at Eastleigh.
Just maybe my scale's out of whack. That feels reasonable to me. I guess
It
just
is
so
because
used to paying much more ridiculous prices.
Yeah, that's probably why. But anywho, we'll talk more about that obviously when we get a chance to.
Absolutely. But look, that's all we've got time for today. So look, let us know in the comments, in the socials, what fixture are you most looking forward to this season? Is it Middlesbrough? Is it Pompey? I've seen all of the thoughts of the players that the Southampton social media team have been putting out, and I enjoyed so many of them. I really enjoyed Larin's deadpan Middlesbrough with no other context, and
I also
Leo's
really enjoyed
Pompey.
how cross people got about it, where they're like, "Why are we still in your head?" I'm like, "Well, you're in the players' heads because as far as they're concerned, they lost the chance of an FA Cup final. I'm sorry, FA Cup final, playoff final. It's getting to me again. So yeah, I'm not really surprised. It'll be good though. Again,
Yeah, exciting. But yes, look, let us know in the comments who you're most looking forward to playing. What away day or home trip are you most looking forward to? We are Daily Saints Pod absolutely everywhere. X, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Hit us up and let us know what you think and what you're feeling. We love hearing from you. It genuinely pushes us on, even in the hot days, to bring you content. As Zach alluded to earlier, we will be back tomorrow with the traditional Transfer Tuesday, and we have got lots to talk about, don't you worry. The window is now firmly open and things are happening thick and fast, so, loads to talk about. But until then, everyone, have a wonderful day. Even though it's cooling down, stay hydrated because it is important. And until then, have a great one. Bye!
this is the Daily Saints Pod with Zach and Greg.